when I was at a wedding. It was the pictures that were taken on the side with friends and family. A couple of those shots, then realized that's not me. I didn't look right. I'm just round. Everyone talks about how many steps I've done. I can't even count for that. Got myself an Apple Watch. I was doing 700 steps a day.
Wow.
Yeah, 700 steps a day. My breakfast was Indian savouries, biscuit and tea.
Ooh.
So you can see how bad that was. I want to be around longer. I don't want to be fighting health issues. Seen RNT and I thought, this is it. I need someone who's going to be directing me. People say the word control. I think control is the wrong word. You get managed, and I think that's the key. I do feel that no one's ever that busy to compromise health.
I love it.
If you told me to go to the gym, that was like a chore, right? Now it's not. Your priority is your health. You neglect that, then it's all down here. My kids, I do want to see them for a long time, right? When you see all these advertisers, we can make you do this, you always think, oh no, that's computer effects, Photoshop. And I was actually asked that question myself after the check when my pictures went up, right, on social media. And I've had this comment, you're looking so unhealthy. It's not good for you. That's my physical appearance. You don't know my internal. Don't let these negativities get you down. Don't go into the program, you not follow it and said the program failed for you.
Okay, so Sandeep, take me back to sort of early 2022. What were the series of moments that led to your trigger moment to starting this journey on RNT?
So, do you know what? There's always a little bit of denial in everyone where you think you're okay. And the transformation actually, I would say, kicked in when I was at a wedding. Like an Indian wedding, people taking pictures, you get your family pictures on stage, but it wasn't really that picture. It was the pictures that were taken on the side with friends and family. And a couple of those shots, I then realized that's not me. I didn't look right. I was wearing a suit. I didn't look right. I just felt like, I'm just round, and that kind of started leading me to think of other things, like being South Asian. We know all the health issues we have. You got diabetic, you got blood pressure, you got heart diseases, purely around the diets we have. And that was really my turning point in the sense is, right, you know what? I want to be around longer. I don't want to be fighting health issues. How can I do this? And hence, right, obviously I'd seen RNT and I thought, this is it. This is the only way I'm going to do it. I need someone who's going to be kind of directing me, and where I'm kind of reporting to someone as well. I'll be honest with you, I tried it a couple of times, and 2 weeks. It lasted 2 weeks before I'm back into my bad habits. And this was actually kept me aligned, and I would say managed me. People say the word control. I think control is the wrong word. You get managed, and I think that's a key. And that was it. So the first 2 weeks, was interesting. The CPT, the CTP, CTP, the CTP. I always get that one. That can be scary, but you know what? You can just take that as your stepping stone, and it's crucial. That step is definitely crucial, and it helps you set your path because it starts setting your mind, I would say, and that helped me a lot.
If we dig back into one thing you said, which I think is really interesting, and you said, I had this internal dialogue of everything's fine or I'm completely fine. Elaborate on that and tell me a little bit more around that conversation, because I think that's very interesting. Yeah,
because I think there's a lot of denial in everyone, right? Because you think, you get to a stage where you don't realize how you increase your size in clothes. And you just think, my clothes fit me. And, there's, like I always say to, my friends, because it's the same question they ask, because, what made you turn? I goes, do you know what? You kind of, you've got to look back where you were, right? And like I said, if I take myself, as I said, I wanted to get back to, my early teens, thinking, do you know what? That's what I look like. And I do not look anything like that now. Why? Right? And it was kind of the game changer for me in that sense that, I can't accept this, right? Because this can't be normal. Because, you hear about obesity. And obesity is, you're not there from birth, right? It kind of grows upon you. I mean, yes, a lot of people say it's genetics. I'm a little bit, I don't kind of totally believe that. I think you have control of that as well. And this is where it kind of, kicked in, think, right, do you know what? You can do something about this. And, if I continue, I will always be at this stage. And how can I move off it?
And how did you end up getting to, I think you got up as high as close to 90 kilos. Is that right?
87, I think it was.
Okay. So yeah, how did you get up to that weight? What was
not managing? It's just management. It's because, I would say a lot of it was dependent on my diet and me being lazy on exercising. So yes, when I was younger, you're always active. I did do sports. It gets to a point in age. I'm going to kind of take a bit of a guess here. I'm going to base on mine, I think, and talking to some other people around the age of 30, things start slowing down, right? People start binge eating, I would say, on snacks. I was a big fizzy drinker, Coke. Yeah, and it didn't matter,
all sugar.
Late at night, all sugar.
Okay, well.
And when you're feeling hungry, what's the first thing you go for? Crisps, chocolates. So it was a lot of that, So didn't really have any. I wouldn't say didn't have much control on it. A bit later, you kind of become a bit wiser, thinking, "Oh, I've got to cut down on my fizzy drink." So you cut it down, but it's still there, right? And your first snack, which you'd go to if you're hungry, it's a biscuit, chocolate, or a pack of crisps. Convenient. I call it convenient food and fast food. So that was, I think, which triggered a lot of it and got me shot up.
Sandeep, so you're nearly, I think you are 50 now, or you're nearly 50?
I'm going to be 50 next year. So I'm 49.
Okay, you're 49. 49. So you've been going through these bad habits for pretty much 20 years, where you said at 30 things started to change.
Yeah.
What do you think has changed in the last 2 decades, outside the fact you turned 30? Like, when did these bad habits start to creep in? When did the bad habits bring themselves to life? Like, was there specific events, scenarios, environments that you find yourself just sort of slacking away, eating?
Do you know what? It's just convenience. And what I mean by that is life is so fast moving, right? Over the last 2 decades, you're working, you've got a family life, and you don't have time to prep, or you're going to go, easiest options, right? It's processed food. What's in the fridge, which you can just throw in like a microwave or something like that. I'm not really a microwave person, but the next best, which I used to go to, should I say, it's things like crisps. You kind of make some sort of crisp mix, or you put like crisps and like in bread, like a chip batty and stuff like that. So it's all that convenient stuff, and it's purely around time. You just don't make time for yourself, and because you've got other commitments that you want to fulfill, and you give them a priority, neglecting your health. And I think this is where it all came in. And slowly you start, as I say, I was a gym goer before, and you start giving that a lower priority. You start giving healthy food a lower priority because you're just looking at quick, easy convenience. And I think that's what kind of led me to where I was.
Did you have any health? Did you have any health concerns or health issues?
No, none. Thank God. This is one of the questions where, since the transformation, a lot of people have asked me to say, "Oh, are you well?" And I said, "Look, because is this the reason why you've done it? Because if you've got any particular health issues?" And then I have to turn around to all of them and said, "Nope," because I'm trying to prevent that. It's a whole preventive measure, right? It's nothing to do with I've got anything, any health issues. Within the family, we have got a known issue of having higher blood pressure. And I go, "Look, I've realized that from the family, and I don't want to get there. I don't want to go on a long-term medications, because it's difficult to come off them. It takes a longer time. So why do I need to get there if I can do something today? Yes, it may be a little bit late, but until I try, I'm not going to know." And this is where I am today. And to be honest, I do feel much healthier. Much healthier. Before it feels like a get up and go. If you're on the sofa, sitting on the sofa, someone told me to get up and go. There's a delay in response. What I mean, it would be like, take about 5 minutes to get up, waking up. I used to go to the gym early in the morning, 6 o'clock. You told me to do that 2 years ago. I couldn't do it. But now, even today, I just naturally wake up. My body's set in such a way that I will just naturally wake up at 6 o'clock, wake the alarm up, should I say, rather than the alarm waking me up. And I'm at the gym. And it's been, it's just enjoyable. And the feel-good factor, right? Once you've done that morning exercise, how it sets your whole day, I just feel I'm more active and awake and alert.
So you were a gym goer when you were younger. In the last 20 years, was there any attempt to diet or control your food or control or go to the gym? Or was it not even in the question? Because sometimes people have been yo-yo dieting for decades and never got anywhere. Were you just steadily gaining weight and then you had this moment?
Yeah, no. I'll tell you the truth. I did kind of bits of sports in the middle. I played squash and things like that. I went swimming for again a very short period and then just gave up. And from a dieting point of view, I wouldn't really say I did any particular diets. I was just trying to control it, but never really knew how to control it. So it's like, I think I'm doing the right thing, but I was doing it blindly, should I say? So, not understanding all the macros, how to balance all of those out. So I never really understood that. So it was still like, oh yeah, you cut down on a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but I could be cutting down on the wrong macros. So it could be that, I've been cutting down on the protein and pushing my carbs up. So, never really understood it. But a lot of that stuff I gave up very quickly. I mean, when I'm talking quickly, like, might last a week or two. That's it.
Yeah. Just flash in the pan.
Yeah. So I never went, and I'll be honest with you, Akash, I never really believed on this, the keto diets and stuff like that. And the reason for that is, I always feel that you can't sustain that forever. And they say, when I had my, inductions and working with Chloe, right? It's the way this is all set. It just lines up to think, what, this is doable, right? Even on a long-term basis, this is doable. Because yes, the first year when you're trying to, for me, it was fat loss. Yes, you've got to manage and control it. But once you achieve and you get to that checkpoint, you see why all the hard work has gone in and where you've had to cut down on certain things, and it pays off. And now, as I say, investment, you can see how it's reversing, which is. I think the investment is just as important as the fat loss stage as well. So, I think a lot of people, and I hear about this because even when I was going through this, it's like, oh yeah, once you stop, you're just going to revert. I says, well, no, things have been set for me now. I've been educated, which is a key here on how, to lead this on a long term. So here's one for you. I never had a set breakfast. My breakfast was Indian savories, biscuit, and tea.
Ooh.
Yeah. So you can see how bad that was. Hence the reason I then realized why I was binge eating at, let's say, about 10, 11 o'clock on chocolates and on whatever.
I bet you couldn't imagine eating that for breakfast now.
No way. And you know what? I personally feel, and I've said this to a lot of people, a breakfast has been set for me for life now.
What is it?
I'm happy. I have the Greek yogurt.
Yeah.
I put my protein powder, is either chocolate or vanilla, right, to flavor the yogurt with berries. And that keeps me easily going to 1 o'clock. I'm not hungry till 1 o'clock. Right. And again, it's timings, right? I get my breakfast about 9 o'clock. I have my breakfast about 9 o'clock. And it's like, I've got to have my lunch, and I push myself to have my lunch. So I've got to have my lunch because now I've got into that routine of making sure I eat on time, because that was the other thing where you push your lunch back, to 3 o'clock. Without working hours, your lunch will go from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Then in the evening, you may not feel hungry, and you start again. This is where junk food comes back in again, where you're not having a proper dinner. And I now feel that, I've got all of the, with the breakfast, it's actually set everything in place for me. And it's like, thinking, I'm happy with this now. I've now got a routine set for life. So yeah.
Amazing.
So, pretty chuffed. And again, being a vegan, right, as you know, right, I mean, my vegan food is very selected as well. So
are you vegetarian or vegan?
I'm a vegetarian, but again, I'm not very fond of many of the dairy products. I don't have a lot of dairy products.
Okay.
Yeah, even like milk. It's like yogurt I love. Hence the reason why, I'm enjoying my Greek yogurt. But if you would ask me to drink a glass of milk from young, I've never liked it.
Yeah. So you like more plant-based? Most of them were plant-based. They got a bit of dairy still there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you eggs?
No eggs either.
Okay, so it's literally just Greek yogurt, but everything else is vegan.
Yeah, everything else is vegan. Yeah.
Amazing. So you mentioned that when you saw that picture of you at the wedding on the side, and you realized then you had to make a change, and you'd known of RNT as sort of the next step. But why RNT, and what piqued your interest of knowing that And that moment, you're like, I need to go to R&C.
So I'll be honest, because I said, I knew someone had gone through the program and seen the results there. So, someone, one of my cousin's nephew had been through there. So I thought, you know what? Because when you see, when you see all these advertisers, right, we can make you do this, you always think, oh no, that's some sort of computer effects, Photoshop, someone's been posted. And I was actually asked that question myself after the check when my pictures went up right on social media. My cousin reached out to me and goes, did you photo shoot that? I goes, no, mate, the stuff photo shoot. Then I actually showed him pictures. I took a photo of myself and look, no, it's not a Photoshop. It's actually me, because he was quite surprised with that. But yeah, I mean, it's because, I'd seen someone go through the program. Well, a few people I know had gone through the program, but someone I actually knew pretty close had gone through the program. And, I said, right, this program definitely, works. My nephew was on there as well. So, yeah, I thought we spoke, as in the induction, and it was, I think I got the comfort factor, in when we were just chatting in there to say, right, do you know what? R&T know what they're doing. I threw some bantering questions at you, and the answers I got back made me feel confident. Yeah, to say, right, yeah, I think this is it. This will lead me to where I want to.
Yeah, I'm interested. What were those questions potentially you were trying to catch me out of?
So the first thing, I said to you, right, yeah, I want to take up. I think we enrolled. I think we spoke in March, and my question to you was, right, yeah, I want to take my shirt off, right, and show my six pack in summer, right? And that was let's say 4 months, right? And like you said to me, because yeah, I can make that happen, but you need to do it. You need to do it because it's you, right? You need to show the commitment and stuff, right? So I thought, do you know what? If you would have got to, said to me that, oh no, that's just not possible or something, an answer like that, then I would have thinking, well, okay, I'm not getting any motivation here either, to kind of push me towards that goal. But yeah, I was happy with it, when you answered that. So yeah, I can make that happen, but you need to put the time and effort into it, right, to make it happen. And I was thinking, and that's all kind of got me away from thinking that this is not just a normal sales, which you hear about. Yes. It's all just yeses, and then they don't deliver. Because the delivery, I think, I saw it was there. It's just that how the program was going to work for me and how you can tailor it for me. And I think the key was the understanding of vegan and vegetarian food, Akash. Yeah, which obviously, I'd read about yourself, how you'd converted to being a vegan. And I thought, you know what? Vegetarian, you need to still have a little bit of difficulties because you can have egg and some dairy products in there. The vegan side was definitely appealing. I think, right, you know what? I will get the right direction and the recommendations on what I can have here as well. And I think that was kind of the tip, should I say, right, this is it. I know someone's been, and I'll be honest with you, some of the others, they don't kind of have that piece, when you see them advertising, you don't really see that either. And and that was my, being an Asian, right? And I think that's a big setup for a lot of Asian people, especially if they're in the same situation as me.
What's that? Be vegan?
Being a vegetarian, like they call it Hindu vegetarian, right? Which doesn't entail any kind of, should we say, egg or fish or anything like that, which I think, can guide them through very well. And knowing the Indian diet as well, Chloe, she was good because I think I felt working with her, she understood the Asian diets, and that helped, right? Because if I'd say to her, right, you know what, I'm going away for a function, I'm going to have these foods. So at least she's able to input into that and guide me through on how to kind of manage that. So yeah, as a whole, obviously that came in later, but I think the vegan was that kind of the tipping thing to say, right, yeah, this program can definitely
amazing
cater for me.
So you started in around May time, and it's obviously a big lifestyle overhaul. You're going from eating biscuits and sweets for breakfast to this Greek yogurt and all sorts of different meals. Describe that transition at the beginning of the process. What it was like for you, what it was like for your family, what it was like for your working day, and just the overall lifestyle. How did you find the transition of getting started? Because it's quite the overhaul.
It is, and the first 2 weeks, let's say, it's challenging. It is challenging, but you need to get through it because that is what's going to help you set you through, the whole program. And even in the cohort, as the cohort's great, right, to work with the other members as well, and you share ideas. And it was a changer. I adapted to it quite quickly, I will say, purely because I think in my mind, I knew what my set food is going to be, and I'm not going to be able to differ from it much because of purely personal reasons, like, my choices on the food. So, yeah, going out shopping and trying to get some of those, that's a bit tough because you can't just go to the supermarket and pick up, like soya-based noodles, right? Or anything like that. So you got to do a bit of searching. So, that was a little bit challenging, but then it wasn't difficult, once you found them to get hold of the ingredients. And I found that getting a lot of hold of the ingredients here, it's pretty easy. We've got Amazon, we've got Ocado and all of those people. So I get a lot of that. The family side, they struggled a bit because now obviously you're having to prep two kind of different meals. Yeah, one for them, one for them. So then I had to kind of do my own thing, and it was a bit of a learning thing for me on how to learn how to cook.
Oh, you not cooked before? I was going to ask you. Are you a bit of a chef or?
No, not much. I
mean, judging from your previous breakfast, I can't imagine so.
No, I didn't. And that's what I said, right? It's fast food, convenient food. That's what you jumped to. But no, I didn't. I didn't cook. And you had to do a few little bits and bobs, but again, laziness, I didn't. But that was another transformation. I actually enjoy it now, prepping my own food, trying different things. So it's kind of, family food was prepped differently. I then went in as some of the stuff I could use, when they're doing vegetables and stuff, where you can share your vegetables. But, like if they're making spaghetti, right? So I'll boil my own spaghetti and those guys will boil their spaghetti and, I'll kind of use the vegetables, but I'll make my own sauce. So being obviously conscious of, what's in there and things like that. So, it's in it, but you can adapt and you can work with that. And then that was it. Indian, when it came to the Asian food, that was a bit challenging because food you've grown up with, right? Some of especially the fried food, like the samosas and stuff like that. It's like you smell it and it's like kind of pulling you. But I think I managed to hold up to that pretty well and kind of make an equivalent, should I say? Using the programs which and then you can do it. A lot of people think you can't, but there's a lot where you can create something equivalent on a healthier side. And air fryer is a lifesaver, right?
I've heard that. I've never actually bought one yet, but I keep hearing air fryers. Yeah. Apparently, air fried tofu is really nice. That's
exactly what I do.
No way.
Yeah. So my latest one is where I have my rice, my stir fried rice.
Yeah.
I just put my my tofu in the air fryer, bake it in there, and then put it in my stir fried rice.
Might need to try that. Might need to finally buy it.
No, definitely. I highly recommend it.
So, Sandeep, you said before that your life was very fast, right? And you had all these, and I'm assuming nothing outside of this changed. Like you still had your busy job, you still had you still got a family life, you've still got all these things going on. Yeah. Why did it suddenly not become too fast to eat properly, too fast to train? Where did you find these pockets of time? Because I'm assuming you couldn't compromise on work. You can't suddenly say to your boss, all right, I'm only working half days now because I'm prepping my field. So, like, what?
I managed.
How did that work?
I manage myself better. Yeah, it's where you have those little pockets where I realized I was always looking for the easy way out. So, you gave your, I'll say, personal health lower priority, and you'd rather go and sit on a laptop, browse the internet. This is an example, right? If I finish work, I'll spend another 15, 20 minutes browsing on the internet or doing something like that as an example, then go to my food. And I'm thinking, hang on, right? Why am I wasting time here? I could be doing something more constructive, healthier. And this is where I started realizing how much time I was personally wasting on things that was probably, I feel less important, which I was giving a higher priority to. And also, like I said, now got a set timetable, which I didn't have before either, where, you just carried on working where, yes, work life is there, but people do understand that, your boss even will understand that, right, you know what, everyone needs time, personal time, to prep food or, do their own time as well. So I work for a global organization. I work for an organization out of the States. So my active time is the evening, but I've set expectations, and you're born, and I've kind of said to him, he knows I work UK hours. And we've set expectations and we work together on this. But prior to that, because when I started the program, that wasn't there. I just, utilize all those slots that I was wasting. And it is up to the individual. Because I was, personally, now I look back and I think, I was wasting that time. I would even go and sit on the sofa. If you told me to go to the gym, that was like a chore, right? That's hard work. Now it's not. It's a get up and go to say, right, if I'm going to go to the gym, I need to make sure I eat at this time. And you just kind of start setting your own personal timetable, and everything, you can set within that timetable. You'd have the odd day. I'm not going to say, every day is the same day. You have the odd day where things do go a bit of a drift, but it's not an excuse to then make that a habit. And I've learned that now. So, when I'm talking to, when I'm talking to friends, because they always talk to me about R&T, and they say, I don't have time. I go, trust me, you do have time, because I didn't have time 2 years ago. I'd looked at, how I was managing myself, and I've managed to make time. So I do feel that no one's ever that busy to compromise health.
I love it. How are you managing yourself? That's a really good question. I like your recurring theme of management in this episode.
It is. I've got a set routine now, Akash.
Yeah.
Right, and it has all stemmed from from the program last year. It's kind of slowly driven me. Mindset, as we talk about, right? We're talking about mindset. It's easy to be distracted, but if you're determined, right, say, right, I'm not going to get into these bad habits, because I always look back and say, right, bad habits, no, right. And it's looking at your priority list and saying, right, health is a priority. And I do, and I always kind of engraving this into people's heads as well. It's like, your priority is your health, right? You neglect that, and then it's all downhill. I've got my kids. One of them 16, one of them's 23 now. 23 is manageable, but you know what? I do want to see them for a long time, right? And that's, like I would say, every parent's ambition to see, right? You want to see them get through life, right? And when you hear about people who are going through health issues at a young age, it's the things I think about to make sure, right, am I managing myself? Do I want to get there at that stage? Because then I'm not going to be there for the kids either. And I don't want it to be reverse either. I want to feel independent, and them not having to support me through health issues, whether it's now or later, because I feel that's in my control. The health is, I always say to people, your health is in your hands. It's in no one's hand. It's in your hands. And this is when I say, when I talk about management, it's how you manage that, in the senses in your diets, how active you are, your stress levels. It's all doable. But it's how you do it. And it's a slow step. And again, this is where the program has taught me a lot of this, and how to, again, I think in a couple of podcasts, you've mentioned, right? Everyone has time, right? It's how you fit the stuff in, your health regime into your daily routine. Because everyone is very quick in, I would say, sitting down on the sofa. It's a quick option, right? Right, I finished this, and in the evening, I'm just going to sit down on the couch. And that's it. And again, the steps, right, the daily steps, that was daunting. I can't remember who I'd mentioned this. I was doing 700 steps a day.
Wow.
Yeah, 700 steps a day. And I didn't even realize that. I had to say, I'd got myself an Apple Watch just to kind of start getting an idea. Because after that moment at our wedding, I started looking at little gadgets. You're right. Everyone talks about how many steps they've done. I can't even count for that. So I got myself my Apple Watch, 700 steps a day.
Wow.
And I thought, I didn't have an idea, right, what the average was. So I went, 700, okay. that's not good. I knew it wasn't good, but I didn't know how bad it was either, right? And then
about 7 minutes.
This is it, right? And then when I got the program and you're like looking at 10K steps a day, went, whoa, right? It's daunting. That first step is daunting when you jump from 700 to 10. But even that, I quickly learned how to fit all of that in. Yeah, half an hour walk straight after my meal. I'd have my meal, spend about 10 minutes in the house, then I'll go out for a walk, clocking those steps up. And that's, again, helped me, like, when I, like, even today, when I feel like, if I've had my dinner and I just sit down, it feels like my meal is still in my stomach, I go out for even a 15-minute walk and I come back and I feel good to say, right, my food's digested, energetic, right? And just don't feel like a couch potato, should I say, is the other word. It's probably the best way to describe it. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the grind and the build up to your photo shoot. Firstly, two-part question. First is what made you book in a photo shoot? And secondly, describe the final 2 to 3 weeks in the build up to it.
Do you know what? I'm going to be a bit cheeky here. It's that six-pack, right? It's that six-pack. So I'm thinking, because obviously you see yourself get there and you want to reward yourself, right? In a sense, right, see the transformation, right? Where this is what I was, and this is where I've got to. And I was a bit afraid doing the photo shoot, even trying to book it, thinking, right, should I? It's a bit, people think, it's, embarrassing, should I say, do you really want your photo shot, your pictures out there with you being so big, and then getting to that stage where you have achieved it. It does play in your mind to think, right, it could be embarrassing, what will people think out there and things like that. But again, there's the option of just doing a photo shoot and not publishing it. But I had a few people who turned around to me and says, no, you know what, you've put a lot of time and effort into this and to get to where you are. And it'll motivate others, right? Because there's probably others in the same, situation as you, which I am, and not being able to even come forward, even to jump onto the program, right? Even get to the stage where engaging with yourself. And I thought, right, no, fine, I'm going to do this, not just for myself, also for others who may be going through the same sort of stuff, bad habits, and or wanting to take that step, but just not having that encouragement to kind of take that first step, leap that first step. So that was kind of that. And even when I did the photo shoot on the day that I spoke to, I've forgotten his name. Sham. Yes, thank you. Yeah, speaking to Sham, and he's just like, I don't know. It was just so easy. Yeah, just got there. It was just like another day at the gym, should I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like that. He says, right, I want you to do this. Other than that, it's like, it was my first photo shoot I'd ever done. So I told him, right, I go, Sham, right, I'm really scared here, right? He goes, don't worry, you don't need to do anything. I'll just tell you what to do, but just I'll give you some exercises, just do those exercises. And that's all it was. So the photo shoot was excellent. The grind, yeah, it's a key part, I would say, where I think, you could very easily slip because you've kind of got your result, right? To say, right, you see your body forming to say, oh yeah, I've got to where I am. But Chloe was good, right? I would say, pushing me to say, right, no, I was sending her the snapshots nothing near enough every other day to say, right, Chloe, this is my snapshot. And and she's obviously feeding back to say, yep, you're doing good, and guiding me to don't slip. You've done so well to get to where you are, so you can't afford any slippages now because it will show. And it was tough. It was tough, but then just coming up to it, you see a bit of reverse going on as well. So there was a bit of reverse where. Because I had Chloe just set my meal plans. I said, Chloe, just set my meal plans. I'm not even going to attempt doing some of this with this stuff. Just tell me how it needs to set, and then I will learn off that. And then she set my meal plans, and then it changed slightly, but again, it was all for the good, right? And I was happy with that. Again, the grinding, when the name grinding is mentioned, it's again a scary moment. It is a scary moment, right? Because you think, oh, what's that going to entail now?
Yeah.
But I didn't feel it was much different to, kind of what I was doing, because
it's just the same, but it's more intense because you got lower body fat.
That's it. So I'm thinking, right, yes, I'm just taking it notch, and I think as you start through the journey, you're notching down. You're kind of comfortable with that as well. So I need to notch down, and you learn how to adapt that I learned how to adapt to that quite quickly. Because I think is when it's just mentioned to you, it's just a bit daunting. But when it's put into practice, it wasn't too bad. I didn't feel, as I say, as you start losing the fat, and you think you're gonna, it's gonna play parts as in a loss of maybe energy or whatever. I didn't get that. I was still kind of, the only question, I raised with Chloe to say, right, I'm feeling that my weight, the weight I was lifting is taking a dip, but that was expected. But other than that, my energy level, I was still there. I didn't feel any more lazy than I was, So yeah.
And how did you feel when you first saw the pictures? When you compare your pictures you saw on that wedding day compared to you looking shredded with probably more defined obliques, which, for anyone wondering, is the muscles coming down the side of the abs. And I've seen from many people. The first thing I said when I saw your pictures was, damn, he's been training his obliques very hard. He's got very good obliques. The detail in that area was very, very impressive.
Yeah, no, I can't even describe it. That's what the feel-good factor was. And I've said this to many, many of my friends who've seen the pictures as well after me. It's like, I goes, what was your reaction when you first saw them? I goes, do you know what? I goes, one, I couldn't, I don't know, how to say thanks to Sham, the way he's taking the pictures, right? And I goes, then, the R&T program, I goes, I never thought I would get there. Because in my head, I thought, when they talk about the human body changes as you're growing older. This made me realize that, well, hang on, especially for male, I would say, I don't think the bone structure has changed much since in my, let's say, early 20s. Right? For ladies, I understand it's totally different, right? But for the men, I don't think it doesn't change much. And, what I've got to and seen those pictures is thinking, I actually look better than I was then, right? I've got a six-pack. I've got, as you say, the obliques. And I was thinking, man, I can't describe. And then I keep on saying to people, because I just couldn't describe the feel-good factor. Even when Sean was showing me on the cameras, the previews on the camera, it's like I was just overwhelmed. Is where I can put it, thinking, man. And then, as he sends the pictures through, and I'm sharing them with the friends, my friends and stuff. And obliques was the first one. Quite a few of them kind of and they call him Moe. Your sides. Your six packs on your sides, the sides with you. I says, yeah. And as I say, some of them are because you didn't Photoshop them in, did you? I said, no, these are proper pictures. So yeah, even now, Sean, I'll be honest with you, when I still get comments, from friends and stuff, and when I'm going to the gym, right? Some of the people in the gym who see me regularly, but I'm not linked to on Facebook or anything like that, through friends or whatever, and they see me and then they're approaching me. Say, because they've seen me there, and it's just, damn, you've done very, very well, haven't you? One of my friends, said that, we never thought you were that big because they hadn't seen me, right? Or they'd not known me in the gym, even though I was attending the gym, they didn't know me, or at times, when matching, I've changed my timing slightly now, so I'm seeing these people more regularly, and they've all kind of seen the before and after pictures, and even today, it makes me feel good. Say, amazing. Do you know what? It's amazing, where I've got to.
How have you found the next phase of the journey of consolidation and now into investment? How's the transition been for you? What's been different, and what have been some of the challenges you faced?
So I thought, well, I had my challenge. My first challenge, I would say, was like the last 2 weeks, and I've been on holiday thinking, how is this going to work? Because I say, the investment stage, I mean, let me start off with the investment stage is, to say, just as important as the fat loss stage, right? Because this is where I think a lot of people don't understand, and they believe that, oh, I've got there now, and everything, is, it can go back to normal. And what I mean by normal is getting back into those kind of bad habits, right? Where, I don't need to follow, I'm not going to say to the word, but kind of move away from this healthy set meal plan that they've been following and get into the bad habits of going back to binge eating and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, right, you're back to square one. And I felt that this part is just as crucial, because this is where it's going to start now telling me how I can, should I say, go outside more and start making the correct decisions without, obviously we've got the weighing piece as well, right, in the initial stages, and how to kind of start estimating food. And I think the last 2 weeks, as I said, I was on holiday. I was very limited with my diet and what I can have, let's say, with a vegetarian. And then, thought as I'm going to come back, my weight is going to shoot up because of kind of my food selection I had. But again, advice from Chloe, how to kind of make those estimations, and what I've learned over the year, what are the, where to consume what kind of food, right? Where to consume your carbs, where to consume, how to get your proteins. I was able to make those choices through the selection I had. And when I came back, because I did think that period, it's going to be a bad patch where when I come back, it's going to be hard work getting back to where I wanted to get, where I was 2 weeks ago. But it's not made the blood. I'll say personally, I feel it's not made a big difference, right? Because I've now been educated on how to make those right choices. I did exercise when I was on holiday, so I still kind of followed the training plan. Didn't have the right, not the same machineries, but you learn on how to, again, even with your exercises, what exercise to adapt to, and how you can work your upper muscles, your legs. So I managed to do all of that. I've come back, weighed myself. Sort of one of the first things I did when I came back to think, right, how much have I gone back? Because it is, a scary thought to think, right, how hard I'm going to have to work to get back to, not to let myself go. And it's not made a big difference at all.
What do you put that down to? What do you think has changed in your mind that has allowed you to go away for 2 weeks, not have your scales with you, in a country that's not very easy to be vegetarian or vegan? You mentioned you're in Marrakesh. What do you put that down to in your mind? What's changed?
It's the nutrition knowledge that I've gained. Yeah, because I say before, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't know which food was very high in carbs, where I need to use the where I need to use the carbs, protein, how protein, the fiber, the fiber, how much fiber I need to take. Portion wise, right? I didn't have the education, because there's normally, right, you think, oh yeah, I'm going for dinner. Let me kind of throw, put in all this rice, put in chips. I'll be honest with you, if I didn't have the education and I went to, I was going for dinner, I'll be selecting stuff like, right, I'm going to pick my rice, I'm going to pick chips, or I'm going to pick the pasta, right? And that would probably be 3/4 of my plate. And the salad would be a little portion of salad I'll probably put in there. And I didn't have that education before. And I, even when I think back as what would I have, look, we being there, I think, well, what would I have done? Oh, yes, I would have chosen this. Well, I would have chosen, there's pizza there as well, which is, again, would have maybe had quite a few slices of pizza to fill me up. And then would have got hungry again because I wouldn't have had the correct, the food nutrition to keep me full. And then would have gone to something else, maybe, I don't know, some desserts, pick up a whole load of desserts to fill me up. So that would have been the alternative to stuff like biscuits and stuff like that here. I think that education has helped on how to make wise choices when you're away, right? You don't, need to restrict yourself completely. Let's put it that way. It's you can, with the food selections you've got, understand portion, and I think that's what it was. Where I now had the knowledge to say, right, you know what? Yes, I don't need to take half a plate of rice as an example. I take a quarter plate of rice. Yes, there's lentils there, higher in protein, so I need to move that up a bit and have my salads. You know, and when I mean salads, you know, people straight away assume it's just things like tomatoes, the vegetables. Salads can obviously have lentils in it, right? So, you know, there was a chickpea salad, which I was able to have, butter beans. And so there were bean salads there as well, which again, that can help you. So yeah, it's just the knowledge I gained, helped me make those wise choices, when I'd been away. And I think this is where the investment kind of helps to move away from, I would say it's a bit more controlled when you're in the initial stages, because it has to be. And I totally agree with that, you know, where people think, oh, no, there should be flexibility. Well, you're trying to achieve a fat loss there, so you've got to have those controls at that stage. When you get to investment is how you start relaxing a little bit, should I say, but start making wiser choices and keeping away from, I'm going to call it junk food. We have to call it junk food, right? I can call it junk food now. But yeah, keeping away from that junk food. Because there's an alternative, right, to what you can eat to keep you full, you know. And I was reading the article the other day from yourselves, right, is rather than, it's about the Rice Krispies. One to say if you're going to be exercising, is how to take the Rice Krispies up, taking Rice Krispies to give you carb and things like that. And, you know, it's those articles help a lot as well. So, you know, the stuff that's being posted on the website, you know, you can, and I think there's a lot of education there, which, you know, anyone on the program should look at, you know, because you'll find answers there. And, you know, just things like that, you know, that helped me make certain choices, right?
Amazing.
And it helps you through the journey. And, you know, use the resources that are available. I'm going to say, use all the resources that are available within the R&T program, because it will guide you, right, through the whole program. Whether it's recipes or training, you know, there's stuff in there for training, as you guys have had, and just general knowledge. I think I picked up a lot of general knowledge from that as well, you know, which has helped me through the whole of this. Even now, you know, the odd occasion, it's like I'll think, oh, hang on, I saw this in one of the R&T, and I'll search for it and find it. And I'm going to tell you, I've got a lot of bookmarks, right, favorites in there, which I think, you know, I come across and think, right, you know, I've not got the time to read it now, but I'm going to refer to it. So, amazing. You know, and go back to it and read it to, again, increase my knowledge. And this is where, you know, and I think this is the kind of the stage, the investment stage where, like I said, right, I think when we first spoke, and I can't remember if it was to Chloe, that I want to get back to the routine of, people call it normal life, but I'm not going to say normal life, because your life is normal, right? Everything is normal. It's just trying to educate yourself to becoming more wiser on how to do things, i.e. whether you're away at a function, how to make your food selections, you know, because that is normal life, you know, and you've got it posted up on the website to say, you know, yeah, you guys understand it. And I think this is the other thing, Akash, when you spoke, right? You're not telling me to change my life and stick to a strict regime, right? This is where I think things like slimline, or if that's what it's called these days, I don't even know, or keto, right?
Yeah.
Or keto or stuff like that, right? Where you're stuck to this particular regime, which is just to keep to where you are. You got to follow that for life. Where no, it's not like that. You know, you'll be adapting to normality, in the sense as in you learn yourself. I've not got the education today, so when I started the program, I didn't have the education. But through the program and now investment, I'm still learning today. I'm going to be honest with you, you know, where people think, right, you know, that's it. You stop there. You've learned everything. No, I'm still learning today. You know, relying on your resources to back me as well, in certain areas where I'm stuck. Or as I say, the cohort's fantastic. As soon as I'm stuck, I just ping them a message and I'll get my answer. So, yeah.
So Sandeep, you're 30 odd kilos down. You're on the cusp of being 50. You're in the shape of your life. Tell me how the physical has been the vehicle for you.
Like from now on, is that so?
How's the physical transformation been the vehicle for you to do different things in your life? I'm
going to say, you know, I've become more confident. If I'm going to say I've started becoming more confident. And I think that get up and go, right, where I think which wasn't there before, it's helped a lot. And I think this kind of all kicked in within the first 3 months, believe it or not. Yeah, as you start seeing your weight start driving down, and you just kind of change yourself. And I think the positivity, right? I would say the positive side I just automatically kicked in and made me more confident to push myself to doing more stuff. I think, that's the best way I think I can describe it. Yeah. And I say,
smile on your face is all.
Yeah. And then now it's like, the feel good factor, as I said, even today, and I said to my friends, the feel good factor, even today, and I'm hoping, this stays there for a very long time, that I'm able to look back and, say, right, this is where I was, and and I've still got that feel good factor where I did that transformation, and I'm still there, still got up that motivation, get up and go, and able to motivate others as well, to what I've achieved.
Amazing. How's it impacted your family, your wife, your kids? What have you seen in them change, if anything, yet?
So it's a comment my daughter always makes. She goes, because they're not going for the fat loss, because prior to that, I'm going to be honest with you, they also say, should I say, is, you're fat. That's where the denial came in, right? It was literally that blunt, right?
Yeah.
So you're fat. You need to do something. You're fat. You need to do something. Have you seen yourself?
And what would you say to that? Out of interest.
Do you know? It was like I fit into my clothes, so I can't be fat. I'm still the same size, right?
Yeah.
And it was denial. And this is what I said: I say I was a waist 34, but that waist 34 was tight. So if I would have carried on, I reckon today I may have hit 36. Yeah. And I will be honest with you, Akash, it's like I never wore slim fit shirts, right? It was the kind of the regular shirts, which you're going to fit into that, right? You're going to easily fit into that. And it's never going to be tight for you. I did revert to, just before COVID, I did revert into a slim fit shirt. Same size, like neck size was the same, but I went for a slim fit. And as you know, the slim fit shirts, you start putting just a little weight, and those buttons at the front, they start opening up, right?
Yeah, they're not forgiving.
Yeah, and then come COVID, boom. That's what it was. Yeah, those shirts didn't fit me. I mean, they don't fit me now, right? They're too big for me now. So it is a total wardrobe. None of my clothes fit me. As you saw on one of the shots, none of my clothes fit me. I've had to go, for a complete wardrobe refresh. So now, I've gone to my door and I've said to her, well, now I'm not fat. I even had a bet with her. You're not going to believe this. Just before COVID, we had a bet with her, and the bet was, come, a year. So this was probably about March again. As soon as COVID was at its peak, I had a bet with her to say, right, again, it was the same. Right, by the end of summer, I'm going to have a 6-pack, right? Because I'm going to really exercise. That didn't happen. So I lost my bet with her. My shirt, I went the other way, obviously. And I think that happened for a lot of people during COVID, where, the shirt got tighter. But now she's strict the other way. She looks at me and goes, Dad, you need to put on a bit more fat. So I think what's happened, and not just my daughter, just like even generally family, because they've seen me got to this particular size, and as I've gone back, they are all, and I think a lot of people will get this comment, and guys, don't take this on board because it's not true. And when they say to you, because they all say to me, "Oh, you're looking so unhealthy now," right? And I feel that people get used to looking in a particular way, and they want to continue to look that way because they're so used to looking that way. And I've had this comment to say, "Oh, you're looking so unhealthy. It's not good for you." That's my physical appearance. You don't know my internal, how I feel internally, which is completely different. So the appearance, a lot of people will judge you by your appearance, and don't go for that, because even while you're doing the transformation, people can say, "Yeah, you need to stop. You're not looking healthy." But get there. Don't take that advice, because it's how you feel. If you are feeling, well, and it's not compromising your health in any way, and it won't be, because obviously the technical expertise, right, and the advice we get, I don't feel that anyone will be there. People are going to make a judgment for your appearance, and don't let that get you. Whatever you do, don't let it get you down, because it can be a big, demote someone very quickly. And
you
I didn't let it get to me.
Yeah, you make a good point, because we had someone a couple of weeks ago say to me, "Gosh, I've thrown in the towel." I was like, "Why? What happened?" He's like, "It's too many comments, and it's too much." And luckily, he reached out, but could have easily been, and he got back on track. But it could have easily been someone who's doing something positive themselves, but because of negativity around them, got completely derailed.
Yeah. And then I'll be honest, even on the social media side, right? I was reading a couple of comments. So
yeah.
Again, I saw it on there, right? And I did feel like replying, but I thought, you know what? Everyone's open to their own opinion, right? So it's fine. There's more positive than negative. I'll be honest with you. And I still get likes and stuff like that. But it's how you feel inside. Don't let the people say. I get it from a lot of my family, right? Extended family, friends. They've seen me, and they all say, "Oh, you okay?" I says, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, health all okay?" I says, "Yeah." Right, and then I kind of explained to them. I goes, "Oh, you've lost a lot of weight." I says, "Yeah." I goes, "I had to, because I was getting to the stage where I believe I would have ended up with health issues, which would have then been meaning I would have gone under medication, right? And I just didn't want to get there. So hence I took this action myself, and I may look, but because I am healthier than I was then."
That's what people were saying, like, "Oh, is he healthy?" And I don't know if you saw my comment. That one went quite viral.
Yeah.
Your post, but obviously, as you said, there's more positive than negative, but there was enough negative to make it. And I was reading, and I was like, I hope Sandeep doesn't take it in the wrong way. And now I'm speaking to you, I'm like, yeah, he's taking it in the complete right way, because I think one of the things I wrote was that you just obviously triggered a lot of people into thinking, "Oh wow, like someone like that has done." Someone like probably like me right now, who I could before, has done this, and I couldn't do it. So let me attack him. And that's usually the reason why people are doing it, because you've obviously triggered them to make them think, "Oh shit, I need to do something." But instead of doing the actual work, let me just shout abuse from that keyboard.
Yeah, no, and then I'll be honest with you, it's like, as I say, everyone's open to their opinion, but it's people on the program. Don't throw the towel in, right? Because you are going to get comments like this. Because you're changing, you're physically changing, right? And you're changing for the good, right? To me, I change for the good, as the results are there, right? It's posted up all on social media, and how you feel, right? Just keep it for yourself. You're doing it for yourself, and your family, right? As I say, if you've got kids and stuff, you want to be there for them as well. So you're doing it for yourself. So don't let these negativities get you down. Because there always will be negative comments. But
means you're doing something right.
Yeah, this is it. And I'll be honest with you, I took it as a positive, right? Yeah, thinking, okay, yes, you're open to your opinion. I'm hoping, the positivity where, all the positive comments which are there will outweigh that, right? And people will learn from the negativity. And like as you said, they think they can't do something. This might trigger someone to say, that, you know what, August, there is negative, but he's done well. Maybe, I need to do something to get to that position as well. So it's a balance. So yeah, I didn't take it the negative at all. Yeah, and then hence the reason why I didn't respond to it.
I love it.
To say it's very easy, to attack. Become a slinging match, should we say? But
silence speaks volumes.
Yeah, and so I just left it. Everyone has their, everyone speak their mind. Just let them speak their mind.
If we go back to sort of middle of 2022, what almost kept you from starting this journey?
What would it was? Do the only thing was, if I look at the program, so we're looking at, you see all the programs being advertised, right? Many programs being advertised. And you always think it's right. It's not true. It can't do this for you, right? And I think the key, if we wouldn't have had that induction call, which we had, I don't think I would have just gone and, subscribed, should I say, or become, I would have joined. right? And I think, I think that would have been the only thing that would have prevented, if you wouldn't have had a call, that could have prevented me from joining, and I would have still been today looking around for something. Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I would say there would have been more negative. I would have been thinking more negative, but in a way, positive in my mind, to thinking any little niggly bit, oh no, that's not going to work for me. So I would have just kind of been, right, that program's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. Right. So it would have just been that none of it would have been right for me. So I wouldn't have got onto it. Right. So yeah, but I think if you wouldn't have had that the induction, that would have prevented me, because I knew, right, as I say, I had to do something, right, and I would have been trying. Even today, I would have been trying. And I think the key for me, which I did realize I didn't have knowledge of, and tell you the truth, when I used to see people do it, because I didn't understand it, I was thinking, why are you doing this? Which was the weighing of the food, right? When you start any program off, weighing of the food, right? Because the nutrition piece just wasn't there. When I was going to the gym, there was no real understanding of nutrition. Yeah, so I never really had that understanding of nutrition. So when I was doing the gym back in my teens, I was still eating junk food and then hitting the gym, which I now realize doesn't work, right? But coming back to this, like reading about a program, the nutrition piece was appealing, but I just still didn't think that just reading it was enough to kind of say, right, I want to get into this program. But the induction, I say, our chats,
must have been some one hell of a chat.
Yeah, no, it was a key, and that was, I'll be honest with you, Akash, I had kind of pinged my email address to R&T, pinged it to others as well. Yeah, just like let me get those like kind of your free read ups and stuff like that. So I'd put all of that in. I had my email out there, but I think R&T was the first to respond to me. I mean, I knew about, obviously, I knew about R&T prior to it, but again, in the back of my mind, it was computer effects. These people have all kind of Akash has gone and done photoshops on them to make them look all fit and done the typical reduction. But again, because I knew someone who had gone through it, that was the steer. And I'll be honest with you, I think I kind of had my mind set already to say, right, if I'm going to go into any program, it was going to be the R&T program. But without the induction, I think I wouldn't have joined. Yeah, it would have been the lazy. Yeah, I was going to say it would have been the lazy side for me again, right? To say, it's that to say, that program's not going to work for me without talking to someone. So,
if you were speaking to someone right now to start their journey, what's the best piece of advice you give them?
I actually done it the other day, believe it or not, and I can't remember. What did I say to them? Actually, damn, you put me a bit on the spot here, and I trying to get me thinking there. It comes to you naturally when someone approaches you, right? But obviously, because it all starts off from me describing my journey, right? And again, it's always been that, look, guys, one of the key things is, right, it is going to be a life changer, right? In the sense of, the first thing, I said to her, I goes, look, because they said to me, I see the programs work for you, because obviously I know them pretty well. And it was, right, can you, how does it work, right? So kind of you describe them how the whole, basically, the transformation piece works. But my second advice, and then I'll say this to a lot of people, is look, it's not an easy journey, right? And don't expect things are going to be handed to you in a plate. You're going to be advised the right way. I can definitely count for that, because it's what has been done for myself. But at the same time, You've got to follow it. Don't go into the program, you not follow it and said the program failed for you, right? And I go, it's a year's journey. Don't expect results. And you see this a lot. Come a new year, the gyms are busy, right? The classes are busy. You try booking something, it's all booked, right? And you know why that is. And I kind of give them that kind of scenario to say that go to any gym, beginning of the year, right? See how busy it is. Give it February, it all starts dying down because people have just said, right, you know what? They're trying to achieve their results within such a short period, like within a month. And because the R&T program is the same. Do not expect, your goal to be there within a month. It's just I don't think it's doable. Again, depending on the person's physique, right? But if they're trying to lose the kind of weight I was trying to lose, right? I don't think it's possible, right? And I keep on telling them, right, it's a long term, and look at it as a long term journey. Don't look at it as a short term, because I think short terms don't work. And this is where I kind of say to them about things like, your all these diets that you see being advertised. Keto seems to be the latest one at the moment, which a lot of people are jumping onto, right? Or the fasting, I think, is another one. I says, yes, they'll make you achieve your results within 6 weeks. What are you going to do after that 6 weeks? This is where R&T helps you on a longer journey, and you are kind of set for life.